Hello, all. Welcome, everyone, to this special show where we are going to see what really worked with AI SDRs and eventually what happened to AI SDRs and why they failed. My name is Siva, founder of Lyzr, the enterprise agent infrastructure platform. And we did launch an AI SDR product called JSON. That was one of the products that we had on our platform. But I'm joined by Stephen, who was the founder of Luna.ai, and they were an end-to-end product, AI SDR product, and they were pretty successful. And he also comes with a lot of intel on what really happened. And we actually hopped on a call earlier, and we exchanged notes, and we were surprised that how our notes were pretty common across several experiences that we had. So we thought, okay, what if we share this with the larger community on what really went well and where it all failed? I will let Stephen introduce himself, and then we will jump into the podcast. Stephen, over to you.
Hi guys, I'm Stephen. Siva, thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation because there's so much going on about AI SDRs and AI salespeople and AI in general, right, in the sales industry. So this is going to be very interesting. Very short about myself. I'm one of the founders of Luna.ai. We basically founded the company 3.5 years ago before they coined the term AI SDR. So we called it an all-in-one lead generation platform. So we were one of the first, if not the first, in the market at that time, which was super interesting. We launched it 1.5 years before ChatGPT. And basically the vision was for lead generation. We wanted to have leads available. We wanted to do the research, write the emails, send the emails, and basically do the entire lead generation process, because that's what a lot of salespeople struggle with at the moment.
So let's get started from there. You started Luna even before ChatGPT came out. How did you solve the problem pre-ChatGPT and post-ChatGPT? How did it all change post-ChatGPT?
Honestly, the launch of ChatGPT was a crazy day. It was like the entire world shifted 180 degrees. So before that, as the founders, we started out as a lead generation agency, and then there were these email automation platforms, right? And companies were paying us so much money to not having to use those platforms themselves, but basically pay us to use these platforms for them. So then we thought, you know what, if we can build a platform that they actually want to use, and then through a mutual friend, I got in contact with OpenAI. They were just like testing their first GPT-3 algorithm, which was very cool. And interesting thing about that time was that I basically had to give 3-4 demos just to prove that software could actually write an email, because nobody knew what AI actually was, maybe from like a sci-fi movie or something like that. But me clicking a button and getting a personalized email out of there, that was insane, and everyone thought it was staged. And then ChatGPT came, and within a week, we had like 1,000 competitors. Everyone said, "Oh, AI in sales is the future. We're going to send AI personalized emails and stuff like that." So yeah, the launch of ChatGPT was honestly a very crazy day.
And I know you mentioned that, I mean, you are based in Europe. So did you move to San Francisco for a short period to get this moving?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, the interesting thing about the adoption of tools in general, it goes quicker in the US than it goes in Europe, and also on the sales side, companies were way more used to automating sales processes, automating lead generation processes. So that's why we raised some funding from partly European, partly US investors, and moved there for some time as well, just to get this thing off the ground.
Fantastic. I mean, for us at least, it was easier because we are based in New York, and we understand the sales culture here, and it was easier. Now let's go to the 2023-2024 graph. When did you see a lot of traction happening in terms of inbound coming into Luna.ai?
That was actually after the launch of ChatGPT. So before ChatGPT launched, we also saw a lot of traction, but it was all outbound. So people respond really well to, because we were using Luna ourselves as well, right? We didn't have a sales team. It was just us like sending sales emails, and Luna generated emails. And because nobody knew that our technology actually existed, everyone thought that I was just like doing all of the research, and people appreciated that. And then that basically gave us a lot of traction on outbound. Inbound basically happened after the launch of ChatGPT. 2023 was in that sense a crazy year, because there were so many companies who felt that they would be left behind if they were not incorporating AI. So people just started buying AI for the sake of buying AI without fully understanding what they're buying and stuff like that. So that's when we saw a lot of inbound traction. We saw that like scale up like crazy.
Our launch was slightly different compared to how you went to market, because for you it was by design. It is something that you did always. I mean, 3 years back. For us, it was an accident. There was a tweet that Jason Lemkin made. I think around March, end of March. Uh, he runs the SaaSTR Europe conference, and he just made a tweet saying, "Hey, it would be fantastic if there was an AI agent that can take the Excel sheet of all the sponsors, possible sponsors, reach out to them, sell the sponsorship, share the link to pay, and even convert the whole thing, the whole 9 yards." And
Yeah,
and Lyzr was a framework. We were not even a platform. Right now, we are a platform where you have a studio, where we have 9,000 users, etc. But back then, it was just a framework, like SDKs. We had SDKs. And I thought, okay, what if we solve this? We had just launched our orchestrator at that point in time. So we thought, okay, what if we solve this? So we started
nice.
building a multi-agent system, and we gave a UI to it, and then we shipped it in 3 days, and the tweet went viral. Then I posted on LinkedIn, that went viral, and we started a lot of users coming into us saying, "Hey, you know what? This is pretty cool. Can we access it?" And it was free, to be honest, at that point in time, because we were still an open source framework at that point in time, and the code was free. I said, like, that's free, anyone could use it. We were not even thinking about productizing it. It's very different. I would say we got into the AI SDR category by accident because we were a framework company. But interesting to know that you've been doing this with a lot of focus. And I could see my first introduction to Luna was by one of the investors that we were in touch with, and who actually had a lot of praise for how easy you guys made it. Um, because the reason is, I think it was Q2, Q3 2024, when there were these popular platforms, and they were charging $5,000, $10,000 to even get access to the platform. And you guys had a kind of sign up and start using, you even had a free tier, I believe, where it was easier for you
Exactly.
to sign up and use. So what was the thought process behind that? Why did you not decide to have a $5,000 per month plan or a $10,000 month plan? Why did you guys choose the other path?
Interesting question. So there are multiple reasons. The most like the easiest one is that all of us founders have a PLG background. So we're not like salespeople in the sense that we have a lot of experience with that, but we are more into like basically building growth engines, right? That's also why we had an agency before we started Luna, because that's the thing that we're good at and that we have the experience with. So it was also a natural process. But the second thing was that like the AI hype cycle basically went like, yeah, ChatGPT, everyone wanted to buy AI, and then like people got burned because the main thing about AI, using AI in sales, is that these people, like many people don't really know how to do lead generation. And if they don't know how to do lead generation, their AI will not be able to fix that for them. It's not like a magic trick. It's an accelerator or an amplifier, but it's not a magic trick. And that's one thing, that's one of the reasons why we had a free tier, and we had like an onboarding period of like an activation period of like 45 seconds. That our goal was to, you hit the website, you click sign up, you go through the onboarding, and within 45 seconds, you send your first emails. And the main reason why we wanted to do that is because we wanted to show people what we can do. Like we are not, we're so confident that we built something of quality that we're just going to let you use it for free. And then you'll decide yourself if you want to pay or not. I'm not going to try to convince you to pay $5,000 just to get access, because then like when people do that to me, I get the feeling that they have something to hide or they're not like confident enough. And by just like setting everything open and just showing what we do, and building in public in that sense, and just like continuously letting people, yeah, just basically letting people in, see for themselves and then decide for themselves to pay, how much to pay and stuff like that. That was yeah, in the end also it was building a lot of trust, and that was the secondary reason.
Yeah, that's nice, because I think when I signed up into Luna, I obviously liked what you did, because easy to use, sign up, start using it. And I think if you could move to the paid plan, you can buy domains as well. You can warm up domains. I mean, you guys have spent a lot of time in that, to be honest. I can never think of
Yeah,
those things. I think you also built a massive database for lead list building as well. Um,
yeah,
it was pretty comprehensive, to be honest. I mean, and I've seen those other 10 grand, 100 grand platforms. It is exactly the same. There's no not much difference. And you could get the same for $120, I believe, per month, which was your paid plan. I still remember that. Yes. Uh,
nice.
and what we did at
Yeah,
Lyzr was we launched this agent. I mean, since Jason Lemkin was the one who inspired the whole thing, we actually named it Jason with a Z, and we made it customizable. So our idea was always the customized version of AISDR, not the standard pack that you get. So we have all the multiple agents. So that the entire AI SDR was supported by or powered by 24 individual agents doing their job. So we said, you know what, as an organization, come in. If it doesn't suit you, rearrange stuff, add new agents, remove few agents if you want. So we never
nice.
went into the database building or warm-ups basically, and it was a pain, to be honest, for customers not to have those features. You made it super easy, but we took a
Yeah,
different route. We said, okay, you know what? If you want to do that, you have platforms like Luna and use them. But if you want to handle other scenarios where you want sales personas to be built around your how you go to business, you can come to Lyzr because you can build your own AI SDR. So that's the direction we took. Interestingly, now let's move to the second part of it, the traction, where the curve started going up. So can you share what how crazy it was at its peak in terms of numbers? If you have to throw the numbers from a Luna's perspective, how big did it get actually?
yeah. So Luna itself, we never really got into, I think we at the peak we were like 500, 600K ARR. So that's still relatively small. But that was mostly because there was just so much churn. And that's what a lot of companies in our market are struggling with. And if you have an annual contract, right, then you have to pay for 12 months and you have a different, then you're looking at net renewal rates and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But for us, it was like we just like put our doors open. You can use the free plan. You can it's pay per month, right? If you don't like it, you're gone within a month. And because there is so much hype going on, people are just buying stuff, and they would love to try it. And like that's that $120. You know what? I'll give it a try. So we had a lot of signups. Like our sign up rate was crazy. We had like at peak where it was like 200-300 new signups per day. And then just like, but also after a couple of days, because they either didn't necessarily need it or they were just curious or something like that. We also had like a huge churn in the beginning, and that was our that was I think the problem for Luna.ai that we've been working on for the longest time, just to filter, like to fix that. And the best way to filter, the best way to fix it was in the end to, I already mentioned, to filter, and just like see who are we gonna spend some actual time on. But
But
yeah,
600K ARR for a PLG product with $120 price point is quite big, to be honest. It's not a joke, right?
that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, yeah,
And when you say 2 to 300 signups per day, I mean, we are talking about tens of thousands of companies who have gone through your product. So they got a taste of what AISDRs really were, because I think all the other products were very closed products. You were the only open one that was available at that point in time, where
yeah.
people could go and experience what the magic was, isn't it? So that's a crazy number in terms of number of companies that went through.
Yeah, we actually we did like an export of the Luna users, or like basically check how many there were, and we had 36,000 accounts that have registered to Luna at one point in time.
Wow, 36,000 businesses.
Yeah,
That's nice. That's nice. We had a similar trajectory, but what we did was, I think at the end of Q2, we decided to have a pricing plan around it instead of giving it for free. So we added few more features, made it much more stable, and we just put a price point of $2,000 for the agent per month, saying, okay, you know what, the whole agent will run as a container locally on your own AWS account. We actually partnered with AWS. We even signed a strategic collaboration agreement because we were driving in a lot of deals to AWS, and this allowed customers to,
nice.
right? And it's kind of a partnership model that we went in because these agents run locally for customers in their own cloud. It was Q3, I believe, we went almost from 0 to 4.3 million in contracted ARR in that quarter. We contracted, like you saw the business model there was, hey, buy the agent for an year. And if you don't like, obviously you can part ways at any point in time, but at least give a commitment for an year. So that is why the 4.3 million contracted ARR came into picture. And interestingly, and the other reason was since it's an on-prem agent, it takes almost a month for us to deploy, connect with Amazon SES as the mail engine. We used Amazon SES. We did not go the Google or Office mailbox warm-up. We went to Amazon SES as the primary email channel.
Interesting.
Yes.
Did they allow that actually to use for,
Yeah, Amazon SES is built for promotional email, but it has to be done under all the guardrails. Like if the customer unsubscribes, you need to stop sending emails to them. So all those guardrails will have to be built at the app layer. Yes, right. And you cannot spam beyond a certain limit. So there were those guardrails that Amazon did give, but they were the primary email engine out. So we used to buy dedicated IPs for our customers. We used to buy domain names for our customers and create a combination of dedicated IPs with domain names. And they became the outbound mailboxes. Then it sends via Amazon SES, etc. So making it was the prep time alone, the go live time alone was a month or two, depending upon approval. Sometimes Amazon does not approve the accounts. Yeah, it was a very different world compared to the world that you were in.
But it's very cool to hear that you did all of that, like with the buying IPs and stuff like that, because there's so much if you want to run outbound at scale, there's so much stuff that you need to do and you need to think about and stuff like that. And that's also one of the main challenges I think that many AI SDRs struggle with, is that they like the builders don't have that experience. Like they don't know that you have to warm up IP addresses, how to do that, how to set up like the email servers and stuff like that. That's it's very cool that you guys did that as well.
Yeah, I mean, my previous startup was an AWS partner. We built and sold the company, and I understand the AWS worlds. It was so we took that route from day one. For us, it was not very odd because we know how it works. But interestingly, the point is like you saw the PLG growth. We had this enterprise, I would say, growth. We had about 400 leads come in every month at its peak. These are like demos that are being booked on the platform. We had a 70% conversion rate from a demo call to a customer signing up to get started on the platform. It was just a 30-minute demo call, and all our calendars were crazy. Like we took calls from 4 a.m. in the morning. I took calls from 4 a.m. in the morning until 5 p.m. in the evening. And then I had to go to my boys for my dad duties. But it was all 30-minute block. I was just doing demos like a machine after machine after like a machine. But again, crazy growth like you saw. And now comes Q3, Q4 season of 2024. So we'll start with Luna now. What were the early signs that you started seeing wherein you kind of started seeing that the model was failing?
So there were multiple signs, and I think the most important thing for us, like the sign itself that we saw, was a churn, and the churn was very difficult to fix because the churn was not product related. Like I still think, and like I'm a bit biased, of course, but I still think that the Luna platform and the Luna product was very strong, but the thing the product could do was just it was just not a good fit with the target market because we didn't ask for like $5,000 and $10,000 up front. Like everyone could use it, so a lot of small businesses without sales teams, without any sales experience and stuff like that, they were signing up. And interestingly enough, most of the feedback we received was Luna doesn't work, which is very generic feedback. But we had a lot of companies that were super successful, ourselves included, right, in using Luna. But the thing is, like, it's still sales, right? If I want to sell you something and I want to do it in person, then I need to like do the research. I need to figure out what you like and what you don't like, and how I'm going to find an angle to position my product in such a way that you're actually going to be interested. There's no magic thing, or it's not like AI is not a magic thing that's going to solve your business for you. And a lot of companies out there, and that's also one of the reasons why the model's failing, is also because the industry is, personally, I think the industry is also basically like digging their own graves in the way that they're positioning everything, and how they're positioning AI SDRs as the holy grail. Is you still need to put in the work. You still need to be a lead generation expert. You still need to be good at sales in order to have an AI SDR actually work for you. And that's something that we saw. So our most common signal was churn. And the reason for that is because people just came to the product with the wrong expectations. They thought, I'm going to hit a button and Luna is going to do everything for me. And I'm just going to sit here and wait until the leads start rolling in. But that's not how the real world works. And that's like that misconception of like the misalignment in expectations. That is, I think, a very, very important one. But,
So when you say expectations, what were those? For example, did Luna not write good emails? Did Luna not write personalized emails? Are those were the expectations, or were they something else?
The expectations were more high level in the sense that they thought that they didn't have to do anything. So like all of these AI SDRs, they have these headers on their website with generating leads on autopilot and all of that stuff. So they didn't expect to actually have to put in the effort. But because there are so many email senders out there, especially now in the AI era, is that just writing a good email is not good enough. Like you need to find something that works. Like, for example, one strategy that worked really well for us as Luna is we would integrate into like HubSpot, for example. So we would scrape reviews for people that left a review over HubSpot on Trustpilot or something like that. We would feed that into Luna, and then Luna would write emails like, "Hey, Siva, I saw you wrote this this HubSpot review. I as well. Like, I think that this feature is super cool. Have you tried it together with something like Luna?" As an example, right? This is a different kind of angle than, "Hey, Siva, awesome to see what you're building at Lyzr. Do you want to buy my software platform?" Which is personalized, but like it's a totally different thing. And I think those are the expectations that we were not able to meet because, like I said, with Luna, we build an amplifier. We did not build an enabler. So if you don't have a valid sales strategy or a sales process, or if you cannot make it work on a personal level, if you're doing everything individually as a human, then AI is not going to fix it for you. And that's where the misalignment came from.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you. I think writing emails was the easiest part, to be honest. Writing personalized emails was also, I think the agents were doing a pretty good job because the models also were getting better. We had 3.5, then 4 came in, then 4.0 came. So the models were also getting better.
Yeah.
Some of the expectations that customers shared with us was they came to us and said, "Hey, I have 20 SDRs and I want to reduce my headcount to 2 SDRs. I want agents to do." I said, "Okay, fine. How many meetings do they generate?" So the SDRs, they bring about each SDR, they had about, I think, 8 meetings or 6 meetings a week. And this is an edtech company. So their number of meetings they were able to get more meetings actually. They're an edtech
Yeah.
company from Dubai. And their expectation was they wanted the AI SDR to bring in 20 to 25 meetings a week inbound. And that's the issue, right? The expectation was number of meetings, the tangibles. They were very clear, obviously, which is okay. I appreciate the fact that they wanted meetings, but like you
Yeah.
rightly said, they were looking AI more of something that can get the whole stuff done rather than thinking about it as an enabler, an amplifier of sorts. And I used to tell them that, look, if you get response rate of around 1.5%, consider yourself very lucky. For every 1,000 emails that goes out, if 15 of them respond back, you are super lucky. If it's 6.5%, you are beating the market, you are the best in the market. So it comes down to whether there is a I would say timing, is the market timing right for them to buy your product? Is there a product market fit, first of all? Does your product really sell? And is your price point right? Are you sharing enough signals to the AI agent for it to do the job better? Did you speak to your best SDR and try and understand how he or she convert meetings. So these were so many things, and they were not ready to do all of it. Like you said, the moment it's deployed, they want to see whether it can bring meetings to them. The expectations
Yeah.
were pretty flawed, and I think the whole industry to be blamed to some extent because there were a lot. I think people were misled a lot in terms of what to expect, right?
100%. Yeah. But that's also you're hitting the nail on the head when you're saying that it's also comes down to timing and stuff like that. Like writing the email is one thing, but if you send the perfect email to someone who's not in your target market, like I get six emails a week personally asking me if I already like if I ever thought about using AI inside my company. Like we're building our own AI models, right? My co-founder is currently using like reinforcement training methods to train our own models. So if you can send a very cool email, but if it doesn't resonate, then it doesn't make sense. Same with timing. If I'm working on something else, so if you look at let's say the pre-AI era, then you had these email automation tools where you would get a list of 1,000 people, you would put them in Lemlist instantly or something similar. And the thing that it does, it starts at the top and it just starts sending.
yes.
And the interesting thing that happened after all of these AI, like these billions that were invested in AI development and all of these startups raising like tens of millions of dollars, is that they still get a list of leads. They start at the top, but the thing that they do now is instead of just starting to send, they're going to read some information from your website, convert that into like a personalized opening statement, and then they're going to just start sending. But the list building and like figuring out who to contact, why to contact them, when to contact them, and stuff like that, that is as important, if not more important, than the actual sending of the email. So that is also what's happening a lot in the industry. Like it seems like AI is a silver bullet where if the email is generated and like if the email that is sent is generated by AI, then you're for sure going to 10x your results. That's at least what a lot of people out there are promising, but that's just not the case.
100% agree with you. I think uh, we started sharing a very different pitch towards end of our cycle, and we'll come to that now. I started saying them that, hey, look, forget about how many meetings it can book. But email, I mean, AI SDR is the best way or probably the most cost-effective way to reach out to 100,000 mailboxes. Think from that angle. Just branding, broadcasting point of view, getting
Yeah,
your brand across people, right? It is better than cost per click that you may pay to Google Ads. So from that perspective, if you look at AI SDR, it's a very different ROI that you can look at. And to be honest, people started
nice.
resonating to that. But the issue was they come to the call with an expectation that they're going to get a magic agent that can book 20 meetings. And when I tell them that, hey, it's an email outreach agent, it can send email to 100,000 inboxes, they were like, okay, I mean, this is not what AI is. And then they go somewhere,
Yeah,
spend $100,000, and 3 months later come back again. So we'll come to that story now. Third part, when you decided to uh, wind up Luna.ai, what happened? How did you go about the process? And how did it enable you to begin your new journey? And also tell us about what does the new journey look like?
yeah, yeah. So after 3.5 years of Luna.ai, we've been building a lot of stuff. As you mentioned, we had our own email servers, we had our own leads database. We actually were training our own AI models because we felt that the like GPT and cloud models were just not good enough, and like we could do better than that by going very, very specialized. And the reason why we did that is that we always focused on quality over quantity. We never wanted to say like, hey, just send 10,000 emails and we'll hope you'll book a couple of meetings. But we always said like every individual email that you send should count, because if you're not sure if it's an ICP or if it's the right timing, it's better to decide to not send it than it is to actually send it. But that story was very difficult to bring across, as like we've been talking about during this podcast, that there's a lot of like false expectations and false promises made to big companies in the market. And frankly, the most of the companies that we talked to also didn't really care. So they had no sales experience. These were also companies that were doing like ads, for example, or they were like relying on inbound leads a lot. So outbound was mostly new to them, and they thought, you know what, I'm just gonna add this to it, and we'll just see what happens. So quality over quantity was always our main motto. That's what we've been working on. And that's also the reason why we decided to pivot from Luna to what we now do is Utopian Labs, where we said, you know what, we're gonna do the thing where we're really, really good at is building the AI, and we're gonna go double down on that. So Utopian Labs is an AI research lab where we build specialized AI agents. And what we do is you can basically look at it as, for example, GPT 4.0 or GPT 4.5 or 4.1 or whichever model. That's this huge models with like billions of parameters, and it can write Python code. It can cook Italian stuff, or like basically give you an Italian like spaghetti recipe. It can beat you at chess or checkers or whatever. So it can do a lot of things, but because it can do a lot of things, it's never really an expert. And what we said is, you know, with our models and agents that we built, we're going to just take out everything that's not sales related, and we're really, really, really going to focus. And therefore, we can use much smaller models and much smaller agents. We can really train them to think like a salesperson instead of think like an AI researcher, what most of the reasoning models do right now. And then we just give them to our users, because one of the things that really resonated with Luna is like we put everything open, right? We just showcased everything before they could before they had to pay, and we're going one step further with Utopian Labs, because we are not a black box third-party platform anymore where you just put in 10,000 leads and just see what happens. We're going to give these agents so that you can use them directly inside your workflow. So inside Lyzr, for example, or inside HubSpot, or inside N8N or Zapier, or you can build your own stuff with it using our APIs and our SDK and stuff like that. So you have end-to-end full control of whatever you're building, so that you can build something that works best for your company.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's
absolutely right. I mean, good that you guys are taking the right path. And for many in the call who may not understand why it's a big deal, let me explain this in two lines. One, transformers, LLMs, large language models like GPT are nothing but next best word predictors. And it can only predict the next best word if it has the right data or right set of words in its context window. So what you mentioned was when you go to GPT models or Perplexity models, they are very generic. So they collect like a lot of garbage in the context window, and your next best word prediction kind of gets limited because you only find few words that you can really write now. But when it comes to focused models with focused set of context window specialized for sales and research, etc., then your output quality just gets 10 times better. And that is the reason, that is the underlying science behind why the focused models or companies who are going after niche categories tend to do well compared to general models. Yes, general models will continue to get better. They are throwing infrastructure and further training towards it. But I think that's where, as Utopian Labs, you are coming in, providing an alternate to GPT and Perplexities, but with a focus towards sales, right? Making the models or making the agents do better, be it on Lyzr or, like you said, N8N on the workflow side as well.
exactly.
That's right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that's a perfect perfect description, and that's also that's basically what we're building. We want to be a faster, better, and cheaper alternative to using OpenAI and Anthropic when it comes down to sales. So if you ask our copywriting agent, for example, to write an SEO optimized blog for you, it's gonna tell you like, I can't do that. Like, come back to me whenever you want to write a sales email, because it's super specialized and super focused, and that's the reason why we can do that, and that's also like the next step for us in our quality over quantity journey is we have not only a copywriting agent, but we have an agent that can qualify for you based on research. So if I say like, hey, I wanted to see if Siva from Lyzr is the perfect candidate for us potentially, then it's going to research you, it's going to research Lyzr, it's going to access like 50 plus different data sources to find any piece of information there's to find on the internet. And then it's going to determine, okay, based on this, this, and this that we found, we're going to qualify you as high. And we're not only going to give you high, but we're also giving you like the reasoning behind it. So we think it is high because A, B, C, and D happened, so that you also have this direct feedback loop. So you can maybe like give it better instructions, or maybe like help it better understand something if you see like, okay, it's at high because that, but that's not really that interesting for us. We're more interested in like, I don't know, there's hundreds or millions of examples that you can use. But this is basically the thing that we did. So you can build your own sales engine based on our AI technology.
Yes, I don't think I've come across anyone else who've done this purely for sales, building a model that can really help them research, qualify, write, and potentially convert over a period of time. Uh, so coming back to the JSON AI SDR story on Lyzr, we did something very similar. We had to go back, tell our customers that, hey, I don't think this is working out. I've done 500 million of sales in the last 3 years. I was seeing from directly that it's not going to work out.
Nice.
We actually ended up winding down. We returned the money to all of our customers. We even refunded them for their AWS bills that they had, by the way. I think we refunded close to
Nice.
$50,000 overall to all our customers. I mean, ethics are very important. There's only so much that you could do trying to trick customers. So we did refund a lot of our customers. And then,
Nice.
right, and the new avatar is pretty straightforward. The AI SDR that we built previously is free now. It's available on Lyzr Studio. Anyone can go and start using it. But that's not the real catch. I mean, when I say catch, the real strategy here is to help customers build their own AI SDRs. I think customers are realizing it. Like I mentioned, customers who came to us and went to the $100,000 products after 3 months of burning their wallet, they came back to us saying, hey, I think I need to build something for my own organization, which mimics my
Yeah.
best salesperson. I don't want to mimic the world's best salesperson. That doesn't work. I want to mimic my best salesperson. That's what works. So they started
Wow.
coming to us, and there are several, I think almost 15 to 18% of all the projects being built on Lyzr or agents built on Lyzr fall in the GTM category, and which is where I think uh, models like you come in real handy, because now agents or the tooling layer models where you come into picture as a focused focused sales model as Utopian Labs. So the combination of a custom AI SDR agent built over a default blueprint we have powered by your model, which now this allows organizations to build their own agents the way they want, and they could then nurture. It's all about, like you said, it's all about building, nurturing, improving, fine tuning over a period of time. There's no really magic behind it, unfortunately. And I think organizations are realizing it, that okay, I'll have to invest at least 3 months or 4 months into the whole thing, but then I'll start seeing the benefits coming out. So that leads to our next section. Uh, so viewers, we are planning, Stephen and we are planning for a webinar, a live webinar in a couple of weeks' time. And the idea is pretty simple. How can you use Utopian Labs models plus Lyzr's agent platform and probably use a front end like a Lovable to build your own AI SDRs? So the control is back to you right now. It's not a black box where you go and throw in your PPTs and Excel sheets and see what kind of emails it is. It's not a black box anymore, because we strongly believe that sales, being a very important engine for an organization, should be groomed and improved over a period of time. It is not a magic switch. Unless probably you build an iPhone, there is a very different scenario where people will stand in line to buy your product. But obviously, that is 0.0001% of that happens to a few companies. But otherwise, we all have to go through the regular struggle of taking the product out to the customers, finding product market fit. And even if you find product market fit, we need to still take it to more customers and convert the deals. So I think we strongly believe that AI SDR should be personalized to an extent where uh, it follows your business processes. So we'll be coming back shortly with the schedule where we want you to join. And during that 1 hour window, we will show you how you could use Utopian Labs, how you could build your custom agents on Lyzr, and how you could probably bring them to life with a lovable front end. And again, entrepreneurs and founders, if you are listening to this, you can now launch 100 AISDR competition companies and obviously go after the market. But that's not what we recommend, because we've been there. Steven shared his story. I shared my story. We've been there, done that. The better way to do that is actually you can build an agency business out of it. It is even bigger, to be honest, right? Go to these organizations who have struggled with AI SDRs. You take an agency approach, build these custom agents with Utopian models and Utopian lab models, and then continue to nurture them and manage them. Because I think, like Stephen, like you mentioned, organizations do not have time for all of this. They want plug and play, which is why the hype was, and then why the whole thing crashed as well. But I think it's an agency play, to be honest. If agencies can take up and do this, there are a few $1 million of business sitting right there for sales agencies, isn't it, to build, manage these agents. No one, so that
100%.
so that the organizations can focus on what they really want to focus.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I see that a lot in the market now as well. Like a lot of companies, they're looking for something to basically scale their current team, but their current team is so unique to their product, to their market, to their location, where they're based, stuff like that, that you need to have something custom. And that's why I'm really excited about this webinar, because now we're gonna show the world how they can do it. That's
Yeah, exactly. Within
gonna
an
be
hour.
cool.
Exactly. I mean, if we could, I think we will work on it within an hour. If we could show them how they could build their own AI SDRs and bring them to life, that'll be fantastic. And that's where I think the technology is moving forward as well, with platforms like Lyzr, which is an agent powered platform. You have N8N, which is a workflow automation platform. Zapier, which is the OG of workflow automation. I think for viewers, you'll get the idea of how to use these platforms. So I'm really excited for that webinar. Stephen, thanks again for joining and sharing your journey very candidly, to be honest. I think people are very scared about speaking about their failures and scared about sharing their ARR numbers. Thanks for sharing that very candidly, and we'll
Of
gear up
course.
towards the webinar for the viewers here.
Thanks so much, Siva. Was a great one.
So, Steven, I think thanks for following through the whole set of questions. It's
Nice.
exactly how I planned, and it went. I mean, I never done this. I've hosted a very few podcasts or sessions, but I think
Yeah.
whatever I planned in my head, it went well. I don't think we missed any topic here. But thanks for
I
following.
also don't think so. No, it was good. I really liked the conversation, and it's also it's cool to hear that, like, although we started out as two completely separate, like basically started from two separate points, that we experienced the same things, and that was yeah,
Yeah,
that was
because we're
perfect.
solving the same problem, the buyers were the same, and I think it was pretty clear that way. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,